Today marks 20 days since 10 prisoners broke out of a New Orleans jail, and at this point, there are still 2 remaining fugitives, Derek Groves and Antoine Massey. It was just yesterday that we got the opportunity to dissect a 10-minute video posted to Instagram by Antoine Massey since his escape, and since that video has been shared to the internet, it has certainly garnered nationwide attention. When we first began to look at that video together, the first thing that I noticed was where this video was filmed at. It looked like a very comfortable setting up inside of a residence. The man was dressed in a decent attire, and all of these things screamed help that this guy certainly has or had since he escaped. There's news circulating that the authorities have ran down again on previously raided homes, because the authorities are feeling like they know exactly where this was filmed at, because they've already been there. Before we get into a couple of stories that I want to share with you guys to bring you the latest information, I want to remind you that there was a 6-day window from May the 16th, when this escape first occurred, until the authorities would raid Antoine Massey's sister's home. It is believed that this video was filmed sometime during that 6-day window. New Orleans jail escapee post videos that prompt home search. Police raid home where man identifying himself as Antoine Massey filmed clips released online while still on the run. Interesting the way that they word that, saying a man identifying himself as Antoine Massey. I don't think that there's any argument whether or not this was actually the guy. If not for all of the information that he shared, let's just go ahead and look at those tattoos on his face. A king chess piece tattooed between the eyes and on his forehead, potentially to represent the fact that he's always thinking, possibly calculated as well, and then 2 rooks underneath both of his eyes, potentially a king watching over multiple castles, multiple homes. I did a live stream yesterday where I dissected these tattoos even further. There's an old saying that he's playing chess while others are playing checkers. There's probably a few different variations of sayings that could come from these tattoos on this man's face. The biggest thing that I want to say in relation to these tattoos is, if you think about the way that the game of chess is played, that king chess piece tattooed right between his eyes right there, possibly representing himself, what does that king do during a game of chess? He hides behind every other piece or accomplice and sacrifices everything in an effort to survive. Crazy to think that. Police raided the home where a man who identifies himself as New Orleans jail escapee Antoine Massey filmed videos he released on social media while still on the run, but he was not recaptured. Could you imagine if this was in fact at his sister's home during that 6-day window? Imagine if the police would have busted this guy in the midst of him filming these videos. Authorities were so convinced about the authenticity of the videos that they searched a New Orleans home late on Monday where they believed the videos were filmed. According to a senior law enforcement official who spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity, the official said he was not authorized to publicly discuss the ongoing investigation into the May 16th jail escape by Massey as well as 9 other prisoners. Look, it's a pretty good likelihood this was filmed at his sister's house. If that's what we're trying to not talk about, you know, whose house, in fact, it was that was being searched. Massey was not at the home, the official said, but authorities did locate some clothes they believe he wore during the filming of the clips, including one in which he asked for help from famous rappers and Donald Trump. So what it's sounding like is this guy shared multiple videos. We saw a 10-minute video, possibly all of the videos put together. Not exactly sure. I have seen other sources that are sharing these Antoine Massey videos, and they are in shorter, multiple videos. Authorities had been tipped to the videos, which were posted on Sunday, but just imagine how many tips actually came in about this. Possibly feeling like you get a little piece of that $50,000 reward money for leads that help apprehend these guys. Think about being a fugitive on the run in 2025 with facial recognition software in most major cities, probably. I don't know that to be the gospel, but I imagine that they have that. And if not that, at least cameras everywhere. Everybody's got a phone with a camera. Everybody knows your face with that king chess piece and those two rooks. They've gotten an even better look at you now that you've posted these videos to the internet. You cannot go anywhere without being recognized. You are definitely going to have to wear makeup. But if this guy really is playing chess while the rest of the world's playing checkers, imagine the lengths that you would go to in an effort to remain a fugitive. Potentially not only disguising yourself, but possibly changing your identity. A pretty popular, famous comedian by the name of Drewski just did a video that's actually gotten some backlash on the internet about white rappers, I imagine, and one in particular where Drewski portrayed himself as a white guy accepted in the hood. Could ANTOINE Massey potentially be carrying on with so much makeup that he's possibly disguised himself as a Caucasian individual, or possibly even gone further than that? Imagine this man out here playing that movie White Chicks in real life. And with the fact that there's a $50,000 bounty on you, not only do you have the likes of every civilian ready to give you up for a chance to hit that lottery ticket, think about the bounty hunters who do this for a living, assisting in this, hoping to see that payday as well. Authorities had been tipped off to the videos, which were posted on Sunday by relatives who recognized the residence from which Massey was speaking. It was not immediately clear who owned the home. That is insane. Authorities were tipped off by relatives of this dude, your own family ready to turn you in. You can't trust nobody at this point. They've done arrested so many civilian family member accomplices and significant others, ex-girlfriends. If the temptation of the reward money was not good enough, the temptation to get those charges dropped on them might actually be. Authorities say they were investigating the videos as they raced to recapture Massey and convicted murderer Derek Groves, who has essentially slipped under the radar at this point. Nobody's even talking about Derek Groves right now. Derek Grove got up on Instagram and saw these videos and he was like, "Oh, you big dummy." But yes, all attention is off of me. More than 2 weeks after 10 prisoners made an audacious breakout from a New Orleans jail, 8 of the other escapees have since been recaptured. Louisiana State Police, the agency leading the search for the fugitives, declined to comment on whether they had verified Massey's identity in the videos. Again, why do we even need to do that? It's pretty cut and dry that that was him. The agency carried out the search related to the videos, which have since been removed from Instagram. The damage is done. Them videos have been downloaded and screen recorded by the likes of me and the rest of the world. So yeah, man, those things are not going away. Is it a slap in the face to the authorities? I want to share this, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way. I almost did a video entirely about this topic in terms of how to recapture ANTOINE Massey. Y'all want to catch him? Here's a potential scenario. Years ago, in my state, and it probably has carried out in other states as well, police would do what was referred to as like Operation Clean Sweep or Operation Sweepstakes Winner or something with some wild name. Operation October Takedown, where police really try to crack down on open warrants, fugitives. And one of the tactics that they would use would be to some kind of a way call fugitives who had warrants and tell them that they had won a prize. Hey, congratulations. You've won you some football tickets. I remember was something that took place many years ago. Come on down and collect your winnings. And these fugitives sometimes would be dumb enough to fall for this. How do you catch a fugitive? You make him come to you. Y'all want to catch ANTOINE Massey? And real quick, let me say this as well, too. All that I just shared with you right there, I have no idea where that falls in the terms of ethicalness. Like, is there anything kind of off the table in relation to trying to capture what is referred to as a dangerous, possibly even armed fugitive? Or is it anything goes to get these guys back in custody? If that's the case, why not just make a big old ploy saying that the president wants to talk to you, potentially even pardon you? I know that sounds horrendous. You got to imagine it's been a topic of discussion. The man made a video pleading to the likes of Lil Wayne, Youngboy, Meek Mills, the president. Why not just tell him, hey, the president's going to pardon you and then freeze, police, you're under arrest? Is that entrapment? I'm asking honestly because as I share this with you, it's kind of sounding like it possibly could be. Could you imagine if they did this and Buddy was able to walk free because of that? Because they used some sort of a bad police tactic to reapprehend him. But again, is it no holds bars in terms of what can be done to capture a fugitive? Please, I'm asking for help, said Massey, who appealed to the president in one video. But in addition to mentioning the president in that video, Massey appealed to TV star Kim Kardashian. I missed that. I didn't see that. He must know that Kim K works very closely with Trump's pardon czar, Alice Marie Johnson, who advises the president on who he should pardon. It was Kim K who first went to the president back in his first term advocating for Alice Marie Johnson, who was serving a 20 to life sentence for first-time federal drug offenses and money laundering charges. She had already served 18 years at that point. Kim K's appeals to the president got that woman free. So free, in fact, she's Trump's right-hand woman in his ear telling him, hey, you should take a look at these cases. And which cases to look at. Yeah, I missed that Massey appealed to Kim K. Also, New Orleans-born rapper Lil Wayne, as well as lyricist NBA Youngboy, who is from nearby Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All of which also have money who could potentially help him get the likes of a high-paid lawyer who potentially could help this man. The official who runs New Orleans jail, local sheriff Susan Hudson, called on Massey to come forward and turn himself in. Cooperating with law enforcement is in his best interest and may help avoid additional charges. What additional charges are you worried about? Because the only thing that's going to come of this is how you get reapprehended, if you get reapprehended. Let's not forget, there is the potential this man remains a fugitive for the foreseeable future, possibly even a very long time. But additional charges could potentially come from holding court in the street, which I don't particularly feel like this guy is trying to do. Hudson said in an emailed statement, it is important that justice is served appropriately and that due process is followed. Buddy, your boots are getting smoked when they get you back in custody. Meaning they're going to light you up in that courtroom. They're going to give you probably a lot of time. Absolute insanity all the way around with everything that we've been learning and sharing in relation to this New Orleans jail escape that is still ongoing with these two remaining fugitives. And one of them who is actually trying to garner a little bit of spotlight attention for himself. As I wrap this video up, I just want to ask, do you feel like this is going to end up helping this guy or more than likely hurting him in terms of his efforts to try to remain a fugitive? I've seen stories saying that because of these videos, the authorities are closing in on this guy, which I don't particularly believe that to be the case at all. I hope this was a video you found some interest in, and if it was, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about everything we talked about in this video. If you find yourself here on After Prison Show enjoying this content but are not yet subscribed, please consider doing so and turning on bell notifications so that you never miss an upload. It would be greatly appreciated and certainly would go a long ways to helping to support this channel. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!